Welcome everybody to the Kentucky 120, coming to you live here from Kentucky. Welcome everybody to the Kentucky 120, coming to you live here from Kentucky. Give me on the audio issues there. This is the Dynasty Racing League Winter Series here in Kentucky for the 120. This is the main race. We had a race earlier. It was a split race. It had two different splits. Top 20 from each of those splits made it into this race together. There's going to be 36 drivers here competing at Kentucky Speedway in Sparta, Kentucky. 1.5 mile track, 80 laps. It's mostly cloudy, 83 degrees. Should put on a good race for all of our viewers. Everybody's going to grid here. Qualifying has finished. See how the field shapes up here in just a second. First place, taking the pole position. Got Eric Wolf in the 76. Followed immediately by James Lorello on the outside line in the 41 car. Clay Phillips is sitting P3 in the number 6. Number 69, Justin Rodden, one of our newer racers here at Dynasty, on the outside line. Blake Griffith in the number 7 car in the 5th position. Brandon Dalton running in the 6th position in the number 85. Ryan Hesgard, number 7, or he's the number 29, running in 7th position. Daniel Hallis. And the green flag is dropped. Eric Wolf takes off to an early lead, gets out in front of everybody. Takes that middle line through corner 1. The number 6 is right behind him, followed by the 41. Blake Griffith, closely tailed by Justin Rodden in the 69 in 5th position. Looks like the field is thinning out here pretty quick. We got Mike Lemon in the number 72 taking the high line with Daniel Hallis in the 2 car on the inside. The 82 might try to take it 3 wide here. Mark Vega in the 11th position. The number 10 of Kenneth Lehman is down low. Looks like they're going to go 2 wide into turn 1. The 2 of Daniel Hallis trying to make that low line work. He has lost some speed coming out of that corner there. He must have got a little bit loose. The 72 is still riding the high line, makes the easy pass. The 10 is still riding on the low side. Kenneth Lehman trying to get the pass on the 82. Forces the 82 up high, and it looks like the 10 will make the easy pass, and maybe a couple trucks are going to follow. So we have Eric Wolf out front, followed closely by Clay Phillips, then Blake Griffith, and James Lorello on the 41. 41's making a move on the high side. Trying to get around Blake Griffith here. Blake Griffith is sticking that low line. The tires are going to wear nice and easy here. This is the tires go fast on this track. The 41 goes high and dives low with a strong run off the corner to try to get underneath Blake Griffith and take that position from him. As you guys noticed from the last split race, Blake Griffith was in the A split race. He likes to run those slow, easy lines. He likes to save his tires and assume there's going to be long green flag runs here. We're on lap 40 out of 80, the DRL Winter Series at Kentucky. Eric Wolf looks like he lost a bit of his lead. The 6 of Clay Phillips has caught up to him a little bit. Eric is another one of those guys. He likes to save tires. He likes to go with the long run, try to conserve things, and assume we're going to have long green flag runs so he can conserve his position and maintain his tires throughout the race. Looks like the 69 of Justin Rodden makes the move on the inside, passes James Lorello. Can he finish the pass? He doesn't quite finish the pass. James Lorello sticking right with him in the 41, pushing him hard on the outside. He got the run coming out of the corner. As the 29 of Ryan Hesgard approaches him from the rear, he's pushing as hard as he possibly can on that bottom line. Being that driver in the back of two people fighting is kind of difficult, so Ryan Hesgard is going to get a run on both of these trucks because they're vying for position. The 69 is making sure he stays out of the 41, and the 29 is going to try to fit it in there, trying to push the 41 up around that corner and take the position over the 69 so he can make his move afterwards once they get clear, but he can't quite make it happen. As a driver, you're probably sitting here wondering what the guy in front of you is going to do. You're trying to get around him while not touching the guy who's next to you. It makes it a very difficult passing position. The 29 looks like he finally gets clear of the 69 here. Goes down the track to try to make a move on the 41 and move himself up right behind Clay Phillips for the third position. They gave up the third position to Blake Griffith, who was still maintaining about a third of a second off of Eric Wolf in first place. Let's move back in the pack here, see if we got any other battles. Looks like the 72 of Mike Lemon goes around the 60 quite handily of Eric Keplinger. Daniel Hollis also makes the pass. There must be something wrong with the 60 truck. Like the 82 of Mark Vega, he's still coasting around the track. He takes the high line. Zachary Smith tries to make the pass on the inside. 69 is now down in the apron. It's Justin Rodden. He is being passed by all kinds of drivers. He must have got loose and lost his control of his truck there for a minute because he is now falling back many, many positions. As Brady Briggs in the 18 goes right around him with no problem. Coming up right behind James Pandoff in the 74. The 18 of Brady Briggs takes the outside line. James is trying to hold him off, puts the block on, and you imagine Brady tries to go inside, but James blocks him once again, dropping all the way to the apron to do so. Brady's doing everything he can to get around James Pandoff here. We'll see if he can make it happen. Once again, he takes the outside line, but James' run off that corner is strong enough to keep his position. As they approach the driver in front of them, William Edwards, part of S2R Racing. Oh, it's William Edwards. He gets loose, goes down onto the apron, controls his truck, and luckily saves it. What a save there by William Edwards. That was awesome. He might have to give up a position to Brady Briggs here if Brady has the run, but no, Edwards gains control, 100% control of his truck and maintains his position currently. Moving back up towards the front of the pack. Looks like we still have Clay Phillips in third position. Blake Griffith is still holding on to second, slowly reeling in Eric Wolf. Eric Wolf might have a fight on his hands here in the A split. The last race, Blake Griffith was running up there real strong in those top positions for the good half of the race. They had a caution come out late, and it allowed Eric to get ahead of Blake and take the second place finish. Eric is kind of a favorite here. He has led quite a few laps. Let's go ahead and see where he's at now. He started in first. He's currently in first position, and he's led all 12 laps so far of this race. Blake Griffith in second position is giving him a run for his money. The last lap, Blake was more than half of a second faster than Eric was, or more than half of a tenth faster than Eric was. So he's gaining on him probably about a quarter truck length on every lap. If Blake can keep this up, he might be able to get the pass on Eric Wolf and take over P1. This race is being broadcast by DRL TV. The Dynasty Racing League. This is their Winter Series. They've introduced quite a few drivers here so far in the Winter Series. Got some new drivers, new faces. Everybody's getting to know each other. There's a 2018 season. They'll be running a Cup Series, a Truck Series, and an Xfinity Series here, the B cars. 3 different days, Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Wednesday nights, almost every week during the 2018 year. As soon as NASCAR season starts up, that's when the Dynasty Racing League starts up, and there should be stiff competition throughout. Eric Wolf is currently sitting much higher I rating than most of the guys in here. He's sitting at 5,300 I rating. He's used to these races. He gets out in front. He has an opportunity to run away with a race. Blake Griffith has proven himself, though, here in the Dynasty Racing League. He can stick with those leaders. He's had a little bit of unfortunate luck in past weeks, but things are looking very good for Blake Griffith here, running right up behind Eric Wolf in second. And it looks like he's kind of just accepting his current position, coasting around, waiting for that first caution or first set of green flag pit stops to come out. Currently on lap 16 out of 80. Brennan Dalton in the 85, currently running in 6th position. About 2.5 seconds back of the leaders. Daniel Hallis again moves down in the apron. So these guys are running all over this track. This is one of those racetracks where there's many different lines. You can run the high line, the low line. You can run down on the apron and the tri-oval across the start-finish line. These guys are going to make whatever moves they need to make in order to pass the people in front of them. At the 29, Orion Hesgard makes that move low on the apron. I don't know if he got loose there or why his truck wiggled as low as it did. Maybe he thought he had a run on the 41 in front of him, but he's now losing speed. You got the 85 of Brandon Dalton coming around on the outside. Almost passes him before the start finish. So that run's only going to do so much for the 85. The 29 is going to get the run going into the corner, and the 85 is going to get the run coming out of the corner. We got to make sure these two don't make contact. Very close racing here. The 29 barely edges him out of the corner, but again, the 85 is going to have the speed down the straight, and he makes the pass on the 29. Very clean. Hesgard's followed close by Mike Lemon. Again, Lemon's running the outside, whereas Hesgard's kind of in that middle lane. These are the 3 lanes you see developing here. You kind of have that low line, the middle line, and the high line. And if you move from the middle to the top, coming out of these corners, you can really, really make up some time going down the straightaway. Let's go in and see the line that Eric Wolf is running here. Gets out of the gas early in this corner, dives down low, right in the apex. He gets right back on the gas and heads up towards the outside wall. Get as much speed as possible. Coming down this front straight. Passes low and sticks it on the yellow line as he comes across the start finish. And once again, up high, off the gas early. Coasts kind of into the middle of the corner and back into the gas. You notice Eric Wolf is not getting too low down on that yellow line. Some of these other guys, you're going to see them run real low on that yellow line. They're going to burn up their tires early, and they're not going to have anything for Eric Wolf late in this race. He's a very consistent driver. He runs these lines almost perfectly every single lap. He puts in a lot of practice to do what he does every week. So you got Eric Wolf running in first. Blake Griffith running in second position, Clay Phillips in third. James Lorello currently holding the 4th position. And Brandon Dalton heads up the pack from 5th on back. Not a ton of action going on here yet thus far. Oh, as the 95 car, our 96 car almost gets into the 5 of Zachary Smith. That was a very close call. Zachary Smith is up into the wall. Can't control his truck. He must have lost some tires there. And we have a huge pack all together at once here. We got Tater Bowman in the number 40 car making a pass through some of that traffic and gains a few positions there. He started in 27th. He's currently running 14th. These guys are keeping this race very, very clean. The 5 is still dropping positions as James Pandoff makes the pass on the inside. Got the 16 of Richard Springer attempting to pass the 5 Zachary Smith on the outside as well, but it looks like Zach is going to hold that position for now. Unless Springer gets the run off of the corner, and he does. And again, the 5 continues to lose position. That 5 has to have aero damage. He is dropping positions left and right, hoping for the first caution to come out here at DRL Kentucky 120. On lap 23 out of 80. Back up towards the front. Look at the number 85 of Brandon Dalton, currently in the 5th position. 3 seconds behind the leader, Eric Wolf. He's a good 2.5 behind the position in front of him, which is James Lorello on the 41. This field is thinning out quite a bit. The top 3 are staying relatively close to each other, and from there on, everybody seems to have dropped back quite a bit. Clay Phillips in the number 6, still trailing Blake Griffith in the 7 car. As they come around corner 2, heading down the back straight. Looks like Clay is getting a bit of a run on these straightaways, almost catching up to Blake Griffith before the end of the corner, but Blake seems to be taking the corner a little bit more aggressively than Clay Phillips. We'll see how that turns out later in the run when tires start to wear on the number 7. Number 6 of 76 of Eric Wolf. Led all 25 laps of this race so far. He was our pole sitter. Came in 2nd position in the A-split race. The driver who came in 1st in that race is actually not here in the main split race tonight. He could only make the A-split. He trailed Eric for the first half of that race, and then Eric ran away from him. And then he ran away from Eric Wolf here. At the second half of that race because Eric Wolf had issues in pit road. So we're going to see when this race goes into the pit lane, we're going to see if Eric Wolf can fix his mistakes from the A-split race, make a clean pit stop, and get back out there in P1. Looks like we have a couple guys coming down pit road. You have J.R. Hager, Eric, or right behind him is Eric Keplinger, it looks like, in the number 60 car. Both of them coming down pit road. Looks like people are hurting for tires already early in this run. We're only 28 out of 80 laps, and this is going to shake the field up quite a bit. Leaders are still here, maintaining their current positions, running around the track strong. If you look towards guys' best laps compared to their most recent laps, there's been a good 2 seconds of fall off during the 29 laps of this race so far. Much harder to control these trucks. People are getting loose coming out of every corner. I'm sure people are tight going into the corners. I've raced this track a few times, and after 20 laps, these trucks are not easy to control. So very good on all these drivers to keep things clean. Continue to race around one another without catastrophe happening. But a nice little battle for the 7th position here as Ryan Hesgaard tries to take the 72 of Mike Lemon, as he tries to make a move on the 2 of Daniel Hallis. Hallis and Hesgaard take the low line. The 72 takes the high line. Looks like the 72 got the run, but Daniel Hallis is maintaining as Hesgaard falls back. We have a caution. Know exactly what happened there. We're going to go back and see if we can see a replay of exactly what caused the issue. Not exactly sure what happened there. We're going to go see if we can find this crash. Figure out who got loose. I do not see any indication of exactly what happened during that crash. See if we can go up to the blimp cam and find it. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I want to get you guys back to the action here and let you know who's in what position and how things shaked out there on pit road, but I'm not 100% sure what happened there during the crash. We'll try to look at that after the race is complete and let you know what happened, but the first caution lap is out here in Kentucky, the main race of the DRL 120. Like Blake Griffith came out on top, just ahead of Eric Wolf. Eric must have lost a position there on pit road. I don't know if Blake took 2 tires or if he took all 4. He probably just edged Eric out just a hair on pit road. Good work by Blake Griffith, maintaining the first position there. That's awesome. So have 36 drivers here in this race. Looks like the top 21 are still on the lead lap with 22 from 36, 22 to 36, 1 lap down. Starting with Tater Bowman in the number 40, currently in 22nd position. See as these guys coast around behind the pace car, who's going to get the wave around and who isn't here. Those top few drivers that were following the pace car are going to get a chance to wave around and go around to the back of the pack. They'll come off the 1 lap down list. They'll be back on the lead lap. Currently we're sitting with Blake Griffith in first position in the number 7, the number 76 of Eric Wolf in second. Third position, we have Clay Phillips in the number 6. Actually, he's in the 4th position on the outside line. We have the 85 at Brandon Dalton, the inside line. In 3rd position, Daniel Hallis, James Lorello, David Wright, Mike Lennon, Brady Briggs, Richard Springer. Round out your top 10. Looks like our leader, Blake Griffith, has chosen the inside line here before the pace car drops, and we go back green here at the Dynasty Racing Kentucky 120 in the Winter Truck Series. Blake gets an early start. Eric Wolf tries to trail him. Eric Wolf drops low and gets the line down on Brandon Dalton. So he has nowhere to go directly behind Eric Wolf. The number 6 is Clay Phillips, is close on his trail. Followed by a large pack. The 41 in the front, followed by Brady Briggs in the 18, the 42 of David Wright, the 72 of Mike Lennon close behind him. And another caution is out. Oh no! There's somebody dropping multiple positions here. Let's go back and look at that. You can see we backed up about 30 seconds. The green flag's going to drop here any second, and we're going to see the caution immediately afterwards. Nice tight pack. The leaders all take off nice and quick. Viewing Tater Bowman in the number 40 car. Let's see what happens here. Oh, it looks like the 57 barely gets into the back end of the 20 car, gets the 20 car around. We're going to go for a ride and see what we can see from his point of view here. Go to the 20 car of Marcus Ruckman. Look from his cockpit and see exactly what he saw. So the green flag drops. Marcus Ruckman is on the outside line. He's riding that mid-side line. He takes the 57 on the outside. With the speed he's got, he thinks he's free and clear here. Oh, he tries to shoot the gap and go between the 15 and the 74, and that's when the 20 that's when he just barely gets into in the back left and sends Marcus Ruckman around for a ride. That was not pretty. Go see what that looks like from the 57's point of view here. 57 is Robert Tyus. Oh, barely gets into the back end of the 20 car. The 20 was trying to shoot the gap there and make something happen in between the 74 and the car next to him, and it was not pretty. Robert was right in his way. Now the spotter is going to be questioning things at the end of this race. Marcus Ruckman will probably have a few words for him at this race's conclusion. Go back up to the front of our pack and see who we have up here. Blake Griffith is still leading the race in first place with Eric Wolf, Brandon Dalton, and Daniel Hallis. Top 4 drivers here. Clay Phillips currently sits in 5th place in the number 6. Couple laps to go before this thing goes back green. I want to do a couple shout outs to some of our sponsors. Last season was our very first inaugural season here at the Dynasty Racing League. All sponsored by Tater Bowman, who currently rides in the U.S. Navy Chiefs number 40 truck. He will be racing next season as well. I'm not sure what series he's racing in. I think he's going to take part in the truck series next season. But he sponsored last season in the Cup Series. We had an awesome season here. Very close racing, ton of different drivers. We all got to know each other quite well. And Dynasty Racing League is expanding for the 2018 season. So we're going to be running 3 different series. A Cup car series, a Xfinity car series, the B cars, and the C class series, which is the trucks, which is also what you're seeing here at Kentucky. Everything's going to kick off there in early February, right when official NASCAR goes live. That's when the Dynasty Racing League goes live. Should be awesome. You'll be seeing myself, hopefully joined by Derek Pemberton, every Tuesday night here at DRL TV. The Cup Series races, the Xfinity Series races will be broadcast on Monday nights. And the Truck Series is going to be broadcast on Wednesday nights. All those races will be kicking off at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. These guys are going to have plenty of time to practice, get used to these tracks, and hopefully put on a great show for all you guys. We're going to take a 2-minute intermission here as we follow these guys back to the green. Hope for some more good racing out of these top 5. Continue to watch the battle between Blake Griffith and Eric Wolf for the first position. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here, lap 42 of 80 at the Dynasty Racing League Winners Series at Kentucky. This is the main race of two. Currently have Blake Griffith sitting in first place. Eric Wolf follows closely behind in second. Daniel Hallis right on his tail in the number 2 car. Brennan Dalton, fairly new to the Dynasty Racing League, sitting in 4th position currently, almost a second back of the leader. Clay Phillips in the number 6 and 5th position, followed by David Wright in the 42 and 6th, James Lorello in the 41 and 7th position, and Brady Briggs in the 18 car in the 8th position. Richard Springer is currently sitting 9th, and Mike Lemon rounds out the top 10th in the 72. Mike makes a pass low. It looks like he might get around Richard Springer here. Richard Springer gets that run coming out of the corner. Looks like Mike Lemon might be able to edge him here going into turn 1. Can't quite complete the pass, and again the 16 is going to get a run coming out of that corner and beat him down the straightaway. That's the tail pretty much here at this track. These guys, the low line is great for getting into the corner, not so much for getting out of it, and the guy on the high side has the advantage coming out of the corner. Not to mention, I assume the guy on the high side is maintaining his tires a little better than the guy on the low side, so you don't want to run down there for too long. Oh, and another caution comes out. Let's go back and see if we can find it here. Looks like it was Cody Gatsky. Let's see what happened. I don't know if it's going to allow us to see what happened to Cody exactly or not. Looks like for whatever reason my program is not catching what happened to Cody Gatsky there. He was the slow car coming out of that, the number 27. Nothing major happened to him, however. Now we currently have James Pandoff sitting in first position. Looks like we had a few drivers stay out. James in first, Eric Keplinger in the number 60 car in second, Mark Vega in the 82 sitting third, Bob Cunningham in the 36 sitting in fourth position, Justin Rodden in fifth, and Blake Griffith, the previous race leader, in the 6th position. Looks like we had 5 drivers stay out there. We're on lap 47 of 80. James Pandoff heads down pit road. Looks like he's going to take his pit a little bit late. The 60 of Eric stayed out. Mark Vega in the 82 stayed out. Bob Cunningham in the 36 stayed out. And we currently have Blake Griffith, the previous race leader, sitting in 4th position. Followed closely by Daniel Hallis and Eric Wolf in 5th and 6th. So a little bit of a gamble here on Eric's side. He didn't have too many laps on his tires. Could pay off for him. It depends on if another caution comes out early or not. You would think at this point, Blake Griffith probably made his last stop right there. We're on lap 48 out of 80. He has to run another 32 laps. He's only got to run about 31 laps here on green flag tires. So hopefully he'll be able to maintain his position as the top 3 burn up their tires late. Seems to be what his pit strategy is. We'll see if it pays off for him. Jordan, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. I got a copy. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. And yourself?
Doing good. Just trying to get in so I can watch.
Hey, everybody! I want to welcome Jordan. He's one of the drivers here in the Dynasty Racing League, joining me up here in the booth. How you doing tonight, Jordan? What happened with you, man?
Just had a meeting over at my church for our new buildings planned out the whole year, so forgot about that and missed the race. But it looks like you guys are having a good race here, huh?
Oh, it's been a great race so far, man. We've had a lot of position changes. Derek Pemberton had some stuff come up, and he had to run at the beginning of this race, so I kind of been solo here for a bit. But looks like Eric Keplinger, Mark Vega, and Bob Cunningham, the top 3 here, they all stayed out during that last caution. And Blake Griffith, who's our previous race leader, sitting in the 4th position, he seems to have come in, got 4 tires, and everybody else pretty much followed behind him. So we'll see if that pays off for these top 3 guys.
Very nice. How many tires we got on Kepler?
Keplinger currently he didn't take any tires, so him, Vega, and Bob Cunningham all stayed out, the top 3.
Ah, sorry. I meant to ask how many laps we got on him.
So currently, I think he currently has 7 laps on his tires. So the previous caution flag came out 7 laps before this caution flag came out. So they ran 7 green flag laps. Those guys got tires then. Blake Griffith decided to pit from P1, and now we're heading back green. Keplinger gets a nice start there at the beginning, but Blake Griffith is right on Mark Vega and Bob Cunningham tail as they head into corner 1. Eric Wolf is taking the outside line. I don't know if we have another caution flag just came out right after that thing went green. I'm not sure what happened here. Can you see the race yourself there, Jordan?
I'm actually struggling to find it to get in, so I'm having to watch the broadcast too. So.
No, no worries. So guys, this is our first night, as I've told you guys a couple times, our first night broadcasting this, and I kind of lost my partner at the beginning. I'm going to have to fix this for next week. I am only seeing about half the field. We have so many drivers in here. There's 36 drivers on the track right now. So if I go back in replays and try to show you guys some of these wrecks, it's not showing me the entire field. So the program itself is cutting off some of the drivers. I'll have to make some settings adjustments so I can see more of the people. It'll take a hit on the frame rate next week. But I think I have the equipment to handle it, and I won't miss as much of the action next time by. The last race I had Derek helping me out. He was telling me where the wrecks were occurring, and I was able to rewind and get some of those replays in, but I haven't really managed to find any of the wrecks tonight in this main race, mainly because my iRacing itself is cutting off some of the action.
No, I can't. And it's showing everybody's offline, so I can't even find the steering wheel to go like spot anybody. Yeah, here. I didn't get to watch the first one. Yeah, that's per design. Does the same thing, green, white, checkered. It's supposed to go back to gray after it goes through a whole cycle.
Well, this is just practice either way. I'm glad everybody who's tuned in tonight, hopefully everybody's had a good time watching the stream. I'll be back at you live again next Tuesday night here from Dynasty Racing League TV. For the next Winter Series. Going to be at Texas next week. I'll show you guys all of that info here at the end of the race after we do our interviews. And I hope to see you guys for the rest of this Winter Series and then early next season to get the Cup Series started.
I'm definitely looking forward to the future of DRL TV, especially with this theme. It looks really sweet.
The theme is awesome. I got hats off to you, Jordan. I don't know if anybody out there knows. Jordan has a lot to do with the overlays and things here. He puts a lot of this together. Him and Martin Wenzel both with all the graphics, the driver plaques. There's a ton of custom work that goes into making this happen for you guys every week, and hopefully people appreciate that. We're trying to make it better every week. If anybody has any suggestions, please reach out to me, Jordan, Martin, anybody else in the Dynasty Racing League, whether it's in chat and YouTube or if it's straight in our Discord, any members of the Dynasty Racing League that want to give us any suggestions, good or bad, we would greatly appreciate it. Did you manage to find the race there yet, Jordan? Or
no, I'm just having to watch your broadcast, and I'm about a couple seconds behind what's really happening. So.
Yeah, it's a little bit behind, not a whole lot, but it's been pretty exciting so far tonight, man. I'm happy to see Tater Bowman. He's currently sitting in the 12th position. Tater's had some unfortunate events happen to him recently. He does great in those B-split races, and then he gets into these main races, and something silly happens to him every race, so it's awesome to see him running there. Ryan Hesgard, I'm surprised we haven't seen him move up a few more positions than he has. He's been sitting between P7 and P12 pretty much all night. He's currently running in the 8th position in the 29 S2R truck, and he hasn't managed to get himself up there into a position to attempt to lead this race, but we'll see what he has here left in these last 24 laps of this race. Brady Briggs currently sitting 6th in the 18 car. Daniel Hallis in the 2 car in 5th position. Eric Wolf is sitting 4th in the 76. Blake Griffith sitting 3rd in the number 7. The 36 of Bob Cunningham in 2nd, and Eric Keplinger in 1st on the number 60. Again, guys, keep in mind that Bob Cunningham in the 36 and Eric Keplinger in the 60 car, those 2 cars have more laps on their tires than many trucks right behind them. So we're going to see if Blake Griffith can capitalize on that and get past him. Eric Wolf is charging hard on the outside, though, on these restarts, so we'll see if he can make something happen here as they go to green as well.
Eric Wolf is running very fast laps during the practice. He was at least 2/10 faster than the field when I left that practice session, so I don't doubt that he's going to be up there by the end of this race.
The A-split race was amazing. Eric Wolf ran for the first, he was leading the race for the first half of it. They had a caution come out on lap 33. Eric Wolf had a horrible pit stop going too far inside, got passed by 6 trucks. Less than a lap after the green flag start, he had already made up 2 positions as another caution came out, and he managed to finish in 2nd just behind another Eric in that race. Not Eric Keplinger in the 60, but another Eric that was in that race that couldn't make the main tonight and ended up taking the P2 for the end of that one. So he is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Blake caught him for the first half of this race. I know you weren't here for that, Jordan, but Blake started and caught Eric over time. As the first green flag run went on here, and after about 20 laps, Blake was right on his bumper. So I think Blake has something for Eric as well. We're going to see how this finishes out here towards the end of the race.
Oh yeah, and with more than 20 laps to go, if we can keep it green, and that tire saving methods that Blake is really good at is definitely going to pay off in his favor.
Yes, sir. I was telling the viewers that earlier. He's very good at keeping those tires clean. And here we go to green. Eric Keplinger taking an early jump immediately after the pace car pulls down pit road. Bob Cunningham follows closely in the 36. Blake has taken the inside line. Eric's taking the outside line. And Daniel Hallis tries to go super low. Oh, what a pass by Daniel Hallis. He gets around the 36 following Blake low in that first corner. Eric Wolf is now stuck behind the 36 of Bob Cunningham.
Daniel was making it pretty gutsy there, trying to take it 3 wide there.
Oh, that was awesome. And now you got Brady Briggs taking it 3 wide in between the 36 of Cunningham and the 42 of David Wright. Cunningham gets touched on the outside, almost goes into the outside wall, saves his truck. Cunningham is dropping positions fast. Those tire wear from the early stop, he should have taken tires earlier. These front two guys, I'm surprised that Keplinger is able to hold the position he has so far. But now you see the better tires of Blake Griffith easily getting around Eric Keplinger on the outside. And it is no time at all until Daniel Hallis and Eric Wolf both make their moves as well.
Yeah, the tires, man, always the answer.
And again, Eric Wolf gets that low line. I think he's going to go low on Eric Keplinger, but he can't quite make it happen yet. Keplinger's doing a good job of holding them off as Blake Griffith starts to run off with the lead here.
Well, let's see if Eric learned anything about tire saving when he saw Blake fill up his mirror. So.
Yeah, he had to have seen Blake was running just a little bit higher line than him, and Eric actually in the last split race, he was running a higher line than everybody else. So I think Blake learned a little something from him in that A split race, and he has conserved his tires very well here, and he is now almost a second in front of second position of Keplinger. There goes Keplinger down low. Eric Wolf takes the high line again, continuing to run up there. And he's just taking his time getting around Keplinger, not worried at all about him coming up and touching him or anything. And again, Keplinger down low. He must have gotten loose, had to let off the gas a little too much to stay out of those guys. And Eric Wolf and Brady Briggs in the 18 past number 60. Easy. Oh, no, and a huge wreck. Daniel Hallis. No, he must have got loose. Let's go back and look at that in a replay. The number 2 of Daniel Hallis.
Looked like the 42 may have touched his bumper, the left quarter panel, just a little bit.
We're going to go back 10 more seconds and watch this one more time. The 2 is up high, the 42 of David Wright. Oh, it looks like it might have been a little bit of netcode there. We are on a gaming platform. There is tiny bits of lag and things that happen. You see one thing on your screen, the other driver sees something else on their screen. And things are going to happen like that, folks. David Wright was pushing it. He got a little too close on his screen, and it sent David Hallis just straight sideways. Hallis almost made the save and couldn't quite complete it there at the end. Sent him right into the outside wall.
That was a very crucial part of the track, too, going into turn 3.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate ending to Daniel Hallis's race. Keep in mind, guys, these guys do have one faster pair. I'm not sure if Hallis has used his yet or not tonight, but that's really unfortunate for him. I'm sure that David Wright did not mean to do that, and netcode plays a big role in some of these wrecks.
If I'm reading the standings correctly, we still have 30 people on the lead lap, right?
Hang on one second. I'm trying to get this ironed out.
Or about 28 people or so.
Currently have... We currently have 28 people on the lead lap. You were right about that. It looks like Daniel Hallis was able to maintain his position. We'll see if he drops a lap down here as these cars come around to the checkered, or to the start-finish line. But Daniel Hallis is now the last car in the lead lap, and if he maintains that position, that means he did have a faster pair still available to him. So he will be able to be at 100% car strength. He'll have no effect to his truck whatsoever, and he'll have the opportunity to continue to try to make moves towards the front of this pack.
And with 20 to go, you know, if he can contain that aggressiveness and get around the slower folks, then
it's not easy here, man. You take a hit like that, and it kind of deflates you, you know?
oh yeah, absolutely. I know what that's like, especially like at Charlotte, leading 60-some laps, and then 2 laps to go, just some hard racing, and then losing it right there in the corner, turn 3, 2 laps to go. Definitely know what it's like to be up there in the front, just having a race just slip through your fingers like that.
Yeah, it can be tough for any driver, no matter how many times you've raced these tracks, and no matter what tracks you've raced at. You could be at Kentucky your entire career, and it's still a hit like that can really make things nerve-wracking for you. Especially now, you know, you're stuck back here in the pack. Most of the wrecks have happened mid-pack or rear pack on back, and now you're in the back, and you got to fight through some of these guys who have had some unfortunate luck throughout the race, and maybe they got banged up trucks, maybe they have old tires because they're trying to stay out for some laps and get their positions back, and It kind of puts you in a position where you can't quite race as hard as you could if you were up in the front.
It's almost you have to race harder because you got to get around them quicker.
Exactly, and that's the thing that gets everybody is you need to race really hard. You need to try to get your positions back. And if you were running in the P5 before, you probably feel as if you can run in P5 again. And some of these slower guys in the rear, you're going to try to do everything you can to get around them. And a lot of guys like to do that rear view, rear view mirror racing. Where they're always looking at what's going on behind them, and then they start to miss their spots, they start to miss their lines, and they don't quite get into the corners and out of the corners the way they should, and they make little mental errors, and then it causes something much bigger down the road.
Absolutely. You know what's surprising me is we haven't seen anybody jump into the pits.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of surprised by that as well. I feel as if Blake Griffith, I feel as if he came down pit road, he might have had a lot of trucks follow him, but he knows he gave up a position earlier to 3 or 4 of the guys that decided to stay out, and he didn't want to do the same thing again. That's another thing that surprised me is Eric Keplinger in the number 60. He stayed out yet again. He was one of the guys who stayed out before. You saw Bob Cunningham in the 36 fall back earlier. Eric Keplinger was on the same tires that Bob Cunningham was, and he's currently sitting P4, and he did not pit for tires here. So as this race drags on, these guys' trucks, man, they're 1-2 seconds off of where they should be if they had freshies.
Yeah, absolutely. And being in the outside line, he's just gonna, if he spins those wheels on the start, he's gonna do a little, what do you call it, cluster clogging it up there.
He is. I mean, this is a night race. The track is relatively cool compared to what it is during the day, but the opportunity to spin tires is still there, especially once you've put a good 20 to 25 laps on them. So we're going to see what happens here as these guys come around and take the green flag. And as soon as the pace car pulls in, yet again, the leader decides to take off immediately, and as we've seen all night, number 2 dives down in position right in front of the number 3 car. So Eric Wolf is in front of Brady Briggs. Blake Griffith is currently leading the race. And Eric Wolf gets that position on Brady early and maintains it.
Looks like we had some 3 wide fixing to go into turn 1 back in the pack.
Yeah, just a little ways back, you got Brandon Dalton, Justin Rodden, and Eric Keplinger. All 3 of those guys are racing one right next to another. Keplinger has to be falling back as this race goes on. He has those older tires, but Brandon Dalton was a guy we saw in the last split. He was doing very well there in the number 85 in 5th position. I would not be surprised to see him move up and take a position off of Chris James and continue to move through the field and maybe reel in Brady Briggs as another caution flies.
I think that one was down in turn 1. It looked like they were doing 3-4 wide even.
Which position was that? I'm going back and trying to look for it. Let's go back and see if we can see an instant replay here. See, this thing is not giving me the opportunity. I have to adjust to my racing settings. It's not showing me the back of the pack, so I can't even see the back cars and what they're doing.
Hey, gentlemen, are y'all experiencing the same thing I am with the trucks jumping around?
No, sir.
You're not.
No, sir.
Nobody. But I think he also is showing less vehicles on the track too, though.
Yeah, I'm not showing all the vehicles on the track. I'm having issues showing all of these wrecks because it's only showing like 15 or 16 drivers instead of the whole field.
Alright, so I may want to adjust my settings for that. But
And I have
if
to
I do
adjust
that,
mine a little bit too.
if I adjust it, then I won't be able to bring the wrecks. But it's showing
Exactly.
me.
And that's what I'm trying to do is be able to bring the wrecks.
Right, and it's showing me the server side is just maxed out. I got a solid latency, but the server side is just maxed out. Anyway, y'all get back to broadcasting. I'll see what I can do up here.
All right, good luck, man. Let's see, Jordan. Do you know if I come in here in options and I go to graphics, how I can see more of the field at once?
To your left, it says max cars.
Max cars. Ah, 20, see? Let's put that to 40. There we go. Now hopefully I can see when all of this action actually takes place here. I know I've got the settings, or you know, the equipment to support it. Now I'm running at 100 frames. See, before I was running at over 200 frames, so that's good. Still running over 100 FPS or 90 FPS, so hopefully I can see more of the action here.
Hopefully, you definitely just saw them fake out the pitting stuff there.
Yeah, they did. They dove low there, trying to make the guys behind them think they were going to pit, and then they pulled back out onto the track at the last second. So that still looks like the number 60 of Eric Keplinger. I'm monitoring this guy. I know I've talked about him a lot, but I cannot believe he is still on the track with those tires that are still a good 6, 7, 8 laps older than the other guys on the track, and all of them have had a long run here. So these guys, a lot of them have to be hoping for a wreck late, probably around lap 70, 75 or so they can get more tires, but we're going to see. I hope this thing can go green the rest of the way, but the wear on these guys' tires makes me think another caution is imminent.
Yeah, absolutely. And with them staying out, if there's anybody who did pit, those new tires versus old, they're going to feel like Superman, and they might make some misjudgments there trying to pass the slower vehicles.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to know, and that's why we put on this series. We did the winter series. It's for fun. We want all these guys to get to know each other, get used to how each other races, kind of know when they can push it and when they can't push it. And so far, it's been an awesome season. We had an awesome season last season. Everybody's kind of gotten to know each other over time, and going into the 2018 beginning, we should have 3 great series to show you guys every week.
Absolutely. And one thing we haven't publicly announced yet, but we can throw it out here, I guess, is we're going to try to do a champion seminar for DRL members. Not sure if we're going to do it to the public yet, but for our DRL members, we're going to have our defending champion, Eric Wolf, do a quick seminar just to kind of help share some tips and tricks for us to go fast and stay fast.
Yeah, Eric Wolf, I've been telling the viewers all night just how fast he is and what he does for us here. He's heads and tails over everybody else as far as iRating is concerned, except for maybe Marcus Ruckman here, and he shows it. He runs out in those top 5 positions every single race, no matter what track we're on. There's very few that he's not good at, and his line is just very, very consistent. So he puts in the time, and he makes things happen here. It's awesome to watch him race.
It's awesome to watch, but when you're racing him, it sucks.
Oh, it's definitely not fun. Me and Derek were talking in the last split, and seeing that guy in your rearview mirror makes you a little bit nervous. And it doesn't matter where you are or how old your tires are compared to his. If he's behind you, man, it gets into your head while you're driving down the track. That's for sure. And that's Brady Briggs here in the 18. He's starting in 3rd position on the inside with Eric Wolf on the outside, and we'll see if Eric can get that dive down low on the 18 car again when Blake Griffith takes off. I know Eric races on VR, so he can kind of see things a little better. He can look directly left just with his head, so he's racing in virtual reality. He doesn't have a 1 or 3 monitor setup, so the second Blake Griffith touches that gas, Eric is right on his tail.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised to see if he even puts his nose out in front just a little bit to make sure he doesn't get that big of a jump on him.
Yeah, the only thing that Blake can really do to avoid that is to wait until the flag drops and goes green, but it seems to be the leader's choice to kind of be gassing it as soon as the pace car drops off here tonight. So I don't know where these guys are getting that strategy, or if they just want to hit that next gear before turn 1, but that seems to be what all the leaders have done so far tonight, and we'll see if Blake does it here again when we go green.
Let's hope that 15 truck gets in the right position.
I'm not sure what Chris James is supposed to be on the outside, correct?
I believe so.
It's kind of tailing the 18 of Brady Briggs right now. There he goes. He moves into the outside line. Slowly closing the gap on the 76, and the 69 moves up. He's kind of thinned out the field here. Now the 60's dropping back, and these guys are not tightening up very well before we come around this last corner and get ready to take the green flag.
Just curious, did you accidentally push the green flag before it went green?
Negative.
Changed your overlay.
Yeah, I see that now. Oh, I'm on replay. I'm not even live. That's why. Haha. Good catch, Jordan. That was my first mistake for the overlay tonight. Oh no, we have another caution flag come out. Let's go back and see. Oh, and it looks like the 42 of David Wright. Let's go back and watch what happens here.
Right when you went from replay to live, they were going 4 wide on the start.
So the number 5 of Zachary Smith gets low. David Wright makes the pass in the middle. He goes down on the low side. Zachary Smith's in the middle. The 10 car on the outside tries to pass him. Oh, let's see. Oh, no. And then David Wright just comes straight up the track in front of the number 5 car. David Wright had to have lost it there. Let's go back and watch that one more time and see exactly what happened from David Wright's cockpit. It looked like he kind of just turned his wheel to the right. I'm not 100% sure what happened there.
Looks like he had some help from behind. Maybe netcode again with the 6 truck.
Here he is from the rear. He gets way down on the low side. He made that awesome pass successfully. And then he moves up the track, and all of a sudden, there is a truck there. I don't know if he was trying to make that pass or not. Let's watch it one more time from the rear chase and see if he did have some help. I don't know if the 6 helped him or not, and if he did, it had to be netcode. It looked like David Wright just pulled up the track, and maybe his spotter didn't say anybody was there.
A few seconds late, as I watch replay, definitely looks like some netcode.
So here he makes this awesome pass on the number 5 car, takes the low line. The 6 is catching him there. He moves up, but he doesn't get touched by the 6, and then the 6 is back in the gas. Oh, that was just so close. All of those guys are riding one right around each other, and they just got collected. Kenneth Lehman was on the unfortunate side of that. He moved up the track out of everybody's way and still got wrecked for it. That's a very unfortunate end of the night for David Wright after that amazing, amazing pass. Very fun to watch there. Awesome racing from these guys. I think this is our 6th caution of the night. Once again, Blake Griffith sitting in 1st place. Eric Wolf close behind in 2nd. Brady Briggs sits in 3rd, and Brandon Dalton 4th position. Chris James in 5th. Justin Rodden in 6th position. Eric Keplinger, that number 60 car, is still hanging out in the 7th position. Bruce Pearson, the number 3 in 8th position. Ryan Hesgard follows in 9th. Number 29, and Clay Phillips in the number 6 rounds out the top 10.
With 9 laps to go, I think we're going to have about a 3-lap shootout.
I don't know. I think it's actually gonna. No, I think we'll have a good 5 laps to go before this one, when this one goes back green. Guess we'll see. I don't think these guys are pitting. I think they're all staying out. Everybody wants to conserve their current position on the track, so.
Especially with this many laps left.
Exactly.
There's 2 laps left.
Exactly. If you can get out to an early lead, especially 1, 2, and 3, if those guys can get out to a quick start here, even if their tires do start to really take an effect on them, you got to imagine nobody's really pit for tires for at least, 15, 20 positions on back, and those guys, there's no way they're going to be able to make up that amount of positions in just a few short laps. So.
Not at all. But that gives me an idea to help this ATVO thing we got going on. I'll work with Martin to see if we can get a pit stop overlay going.
Yeah, that would be awesome. See if we can show who pit and who didn't. I don't know if there's ways to track that. I'm sure there is, but guys, we'll be working on this stream as well in the coming weeks. Next Tuesday when I come back, I want to get some custom cameras, be able to show you guys some of the pit stop that these guys are doing. I want to also be able to get to crashes a little bit quicker. I know I did better here at the end of the race than I did early. I was only seeing half the field, but I've got that issue fixed. I want to be able to show you guys all of the action here, not just the front of the pack. So those things will continue to get better over the course of the next month, and then we will go live for the official 2018 season. I will be broadcasting the Cup Series. You guys will see the very best that Dynasty Racing League has to offer in the Cup Series. Be some awesome races here next year. They follow the exact NASCAR schedule, so you'll see road courses at Watkins Glen and Sonoma. You will see the short ovals at Darlington, at Richmond, at Bristol. And then you'll see some of the bigger ovals in plate racing at Daytona, Talladega, all the awesome tracks that everybody likes to see in NASCAR every year. So.
And some of those drivers will be racing across the season, or across the series. So, our own broadcaster here, Ryan Branch, he's the admin for the truck series. So, definitely going to be a fun series because he ain't a boring man.
Yeah, I can't wait for the truck series, man. Actually get to compete. You know, some of these races can be intimidating for me because Blake Griffith, Eric Wolf, Brady Briggs, some of these guys are just they're so fast every single week in the truck series, and a lot of them are going to be moving up into the Cup series. So the way Dynasty Racing League has things laid out is if you can choose one of the 3 series to compete for points, and you only get to race 10 races in the other 2 series. So these guys kind of have to pick and choose which tracks they want to race if they want to show up on other nights, and I'm actually going to have the opportunity to go out and maybe win a race or 2.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna put that real NASCAR feel to it and doing stuff like that. Really looking forward to it.
We go live here once again. Blake Griffith jumps out to that early lead. Eric Wolf drops down in front of Brady Briggs, just like we've seen for the last 3 restarts. Hopefully we don't have a quick caution here because that will be the end of the race if we do. Brady Briggs is all over the back of Eric Wolf as Blake Griffith continues to keep about a third of a second lead on the 2 behind him. Eric Wolf is driving his truck hard. He comes hard into that corner. If he gets high coming out of this corner and gets another run on Blake Griffith, he might cough up the first position.
He gained quite a bit of truck length there in that turn.
He did. That turn was nasty. I'm surprised that Blake got as much run as he did coming out of the corner there. That just tells me is that Blake could have gotten back into the gas a second earlier because he was running a higher line than Eric Wolf, but yet had more of a run than Eric Wolf was coming out of that corner. So, he did not get back into the gas as soon as he could, and once again, Eric is catching him coming down that backstretch.
And if hopefully he catches him soon, because you see back in the pack, I saw some more 3 wide. Hopefully they can keep it green.
There's guys all over the place, and I think I just saw somebody turn. And there goes a huge wreck across the infield. Oh, no, and that is the big one here at Kentucky. That is going to be the end of this race, guys. That was not a good way to end it, but I'll tell you what, I know one person who's very happy right now, Jordan.
Blake Griffith.
What an awesome finish from those guys. Let's see exactly what happened. The 60, which is the car with those weak tires I was talking about earlier, Ryan Hesgard gets low on him. Oh, and the 2 of Daniel Hallis. Oh, no, just barely gets up into Bruce Pearson. And that sends Bruce Pearson in the 3-car around, and it collects everybody behind him. Bob Cunningham was that other car I talked about earlier that stayed out. He gets collected in that. We have many drivers that got collected in that accident, and there's some very disappointed individuals in the back of that pack just now.
Hope we can get an in-car camera of James Pandolf. It looks like he just barely sneaked through that.
Go back and check out James Pandolf and see what he saw his way to that wreck. Up to. He must have gained some positions there. We're now on the in-car camera of James Pandolf, racing behind the number 64 of John Mullins. Oh, and here you see all the action. The 60 goes low, the 2 comes up and touches, and he barely sneaks through, hits the brake just in time as Daniel Hallis comes flying across the nose of his car. What an awesome, awesome way to drive through that wreck by James Pandolf. What a great finish to that race for him. I'm sure he's more than satisfied with the P11 after the events that took place prior to that. Eric Keplinger in the number 60, he still managed to come out with a 9th position. After not taking those tires early, I assumed he would fall back or need to pit, but awesome top 10 for him.
Yes, and just imagine if he did pit, though, because he was up front and he was losing positions, though.
Yeah, you can imagine if he was stuck back there in the back, and if he had pit and maybe got collected in that race, he would have lost more than just the positions that he did. So that was awesome by him, sticking out there with those old tires and making the truck work and holding on to it. And congratulations to him, man. I'm gonna pull James Pandolf in here and see what he thinks about that about that wreck. Where is he? Let's pull him in here.
You got him? You want me to find him?
I'm looking for him. I don't see him here.
don't see him either.
Might not be available. See if we can pull Daniel Hallis in here and see what his opinion is and what caused that exactly. Was it him getting bumped, or he just coasted up a little? Daniel Hallis, do you have a copy?
Yeah, you there?
Yes, sir. Hey, I was just pulling you in. What happened during that wreck there? Did you get loose? Did you just move up the track a little bit and a little contact happened, or what was that like from your perspective?
Oh, hang on 1 second. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
You know, like I thought I might have done something wrong there, and then I was looking at the replay, and like it looked like he was kind of coming down, and I mean I was coming up. I figured he was gonna be up a little higher, so I think we just ended up ending up in the same spot. It's really no hard feelings on my end.
Yeah, you guys were battling for position there. It looked like you were both trying to take the same part of the track, and things just happened. Unfortunately, you collected quite a few people behind you. That was the biggest wreck of the race there. So, just thought I'd get your perspective. James Pandoff barely snuck through. We were trying to get an interview with him, but it doesn't look like he's currently in the chat channel, so we couldn't pull him in here. But
Yeah, unfortunately his phone ended up dying on him since he's running on that laptop this week. So
oh, okay.
that last restart, he was like, "I'm at 1%," and then we didn't hear from him. But it looked like the cars ahead of that one guy was slowing up, and he just went low. I don't know if like I was in a blind spot or whatnot, but again, no big deal. Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for coming in, man. Good job on the race tonight. That's an unfortunate way for it to end, but hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, it was a blast running up there with those guys there for a while, and then I don't know what happened with the last one. I got to look at that, but that was fun.
Awesome. All right, have a good night, man. So James Pandoff had some technical difficulty. That's why we could not pull him in. Looks like maybe Eric Wolf will that he might run up and try to give Blake Griffith a little tap here and tell him congratulations. But what a win by Blake Griffith. Is that his first win this year in the Truck Series?
No, I think he's got a couple A-split wins at the minimum.
Okay. So he's done well all season long. I know he's been running up there in the top 5 in both the A-split and these main races, almost every race. So I know he had some unfortunate things happen during the main race last week, and it's awesome to see him go out here and get a win.
Yes, absolutely. Coming back from his upset last week, he was quite upset, but seemed to kind of recover here. Definitely going to be a good morale booster.
We're going to start with Brady Briggs as we watch Blake Griffith go down here and do his burnout. Congratulations to him. First place. Get the unofficial results here. Blake Griffith took first in the number 7. Eric Wolf second. Brady Briggs in third. Brandon Dalton in fourth. Chris James in 5th position in the number 15. Justin Rodden, 6th position. Clay Phillips, number 7. Ryan Hesgard in 8th. Eric Keplinger, the number 60, in 9th position. And John Mullins rounds out the top 10.
Toyota's dominated, huh?
Yeah, they did very well tonight. James Pandoff in the 74 at 11th. Bruce Pearson, the number 3 in 12th position. Ray Vasquez, 13th. Bradley Freeman, 14th with the number 14 car. What a coincidence. Cody Gatsky in the number 27 and 15th position. Robert Tice in 16th. Charles Hemphill, 17th position in the number 17 car. William Edwards, number 75 and 18th. Dustin Musel in 19th. Tater Bowman in 20th. Kenneth Lehman finishes 21st. Mark Vega in the 82 finishes 22nd. James Lorello, 23rd. Yves St. Onge in 24th position. Daniel Hallis, after the unfortunate wreck towards the end there, finishes 25th. Bob Cunningham in 26th. Richard Springer 27th, 5 laps down. Mike Lemon 10 laps down in 28th. Zachary Smith 29th. David Wright, after a strong early showing, finishes 30th, 11 laps down. C.R. Reed finishes 31st. Robert Laronde in 32nd. J.R. Hager in 33rd. Casey Drake 34th. Marcus Ruttman, one of the stronger drivers in this race, that had some unfortunate stuff happen to him very, very early, finishes in 35th. Christopher Pope rounds out the field in 36th position. Awesome race tonight from Kentucky in the DRL Winter Series 120. Oh, that was a heck of a race, man. I can't wait to get these guys in here and interview them, see what they thought. That was fun watching those guys go at it for
I mean, there's
80
lots of
laps.
racing. Yes, and there's lots of racing throughout the entire pack. So definitely good showing.
Let's see. Step on toes. Eric Wolf, Blake Griffith, David Wellborn. So we're gonna pull Brady Briggs in, talk to him, and see what he thinks about that. Brady Briggs, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Hey man, I think you're going to be interviewed more than once tonight. We got a couple streams going at once. Everybody's getting some practice in with this new layout we have going. Hey man, third place finish. Congratulations on that. That was some crazy racing the entire race. It was enjoyable to watch from here. What do you think? Do you think you had anything for 1 and 2 there?
I don't think I did have anything for Blake and Eric Wolf there. They were fast all night. I'm just thankful to get third tonight. This isn't one of my best racetracks I figured out tonight, so have to bring home third. And congrats to Blake for taking home the win tonight.
That's awesome. Have you raced Kentucky before?
I have not. This is my first time here.
That's awesome, man. I could tell by your comment before that's awesome finish. You couldn't really have asked for better, getting a third after being at Kentucky for the very first time. So we saw you sticking up there. You were pretty much there the whole race, but it looked like Blake and Eric were kind of just on a whole different planet. Those guys were taking off every single time. What did you think there? So the last 3 restarts, I saw Eric Wolf on the outside, and he pulled down in front of you immediately as the flag went green both times. Were you quicker than him off the start? Could you have pushed him out of the way if you wanted to, or was he just beating you to the line?
He was just beating me to the line. He was really timing those restarts good. There wasn't much room to come down, but, there was enough room to fit, and I didn't have to let off at all. So he was just hitting them good. And like I say, Blake and Eric are really good racers. So glad to see Blake win, and just glad to be up there at the end to at least fight for the position.
Awesome. Well, 2 great races from you tonight, man. The A split and this main race. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, just give a shout out to all the guys at DRL, all the admins that make this possible. You guys for up in the booth for broadcasting this race. Shout out to Blake for winning, and Eric Wolf up there. It was fun racing with them guys. Shout out to parents for watching, fiance for watching. The fans at home really make this fun, so appreciate it.
Congrats, Brady. Have a good night, man.
Thank you. You too.
Looks like David still is interviewing Eric Wolf. We're going to try to pull Blake here in a second. Let's see. Still currently interviewing Eric Wolf, so we'll let him finish up there, and then we'll pull Eric Wolf in. Actually, we're going to pull in P1, Blake Griffith, and see how his night went. Blake, do you got a copy?
Yeah, man. How's it going?
Hey, Blake, congratulations on the first place win, man. That was an awesome race. Congratulations.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks a bunch.
Hey, once you got out there in first position after that pit stop with Eric leading the pack, you kind of maintained it the rest of the race. What was that like, racing right in front of Eric there for the final, what was it, 30, 40 laps?
Yeah, dude, it was, like I said in the other broadcast a little while ago, anytime I get to race Eric, it's a privilege because the guy's just awesome. He's way higher in I rating than I am, so anytime I can race around him, it's awesome. You learn so much. But yeah, man, the biggest thing was executing in the pits. I got out in front of him a couple times and was able to maintain and keep it. I was trying to save when I needed to and, keep the tires up. And luckily it just worked out my way.
Yeah, he had some issues there in the A split race where he had an unfortunate pit stop and lost quite a few positions. I know he got most of those positions back, but that's what cost him first. And then he did it again here tonight. Once you got out there in front, he couldn't really get it back. You were running. It looked like you were saving tires even more in this main race than you were in the A split race. Is that true?
Yeah, big time. That's one thing. Luckily, my team that I'm on, they stress that really big, saving tires, making sure you maintain your tires and save fuel. Always keep an eye on that. So the first race, I did it, and those guys in front of me were driving away, and it was killing me. So I just kind of went wild and stopped saving. Well, this race, I knew that I was going to have to do that because I figured we'd have some long runs, and I knew I was going to have to do that to beat Eric. But again, I got lucky with the way things played out, and really happy with the win.
Yeah, those few cautions back to back to back to back, those kind of helped a little bit. You would get 4 or 5 laps in. It looked like Eric was slowly reeling you in, and then another caution would come out, man. That's it. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. That was a great finish by you. Congratulations on first place there, and hopefully we'll be interviewing you again next week. You want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, big thanks to you guys for broadcasting this. Huge thanks to DRL and with you, Ryan, with Jordan, with Martin, James, Tater, everybody that puts this on. You guys do a great job. Big shout out to Eric for racing me clean, and Brady, all those guys up front racing me clean, and big thanks to my team CCR for them. Man, they've taught me a ton. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here right now.
Awesome, man. Congrats again on the win tonight. Again, hopefully we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
All right, thanks, Branch.
James, do you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, James, welcome to the broadcast. We wanted to pull you in there during that last race. I guess you had some technical difficulties with our chat platform, but welcome back. You barely snuck through there, man. I saw you touch the brakes to avoid Daniel Hallis. That was crazy, you driving through that wreck. Can you go through that with me and what was going through your mind at the time?
Oh man, what an ending to the race. I slammed on the brakes there on the final rack. I thought my race was going to be over.
Yeah, a lot of drivers will be scared to get into the brakes too hard because they assume somebody's going to hit them behind. That was awesome awareness by you, tapping the brakes just enough to avoid touching Daniel Hallis and not getting touched from the rear and continuing your way through that field. And what'd you finish? 11th?
Yeah, I believe it was 11th, and compared to my A split race, I did not feel like I was going to compete, let alone get a 11th out of the 35 driver field we had. So I'm very ecstatic about it.
Well, congratulations on the position there, man. I know, some of these guys don't know, but you are kind of the head admin of all this whole Dynasty Racing League thing here. Do you want to say anything about what's coming up for Dynasty Racing League, or the guys that you work with, and what's going on behind the scenes, and exactly where things are headed for the 2018 season?
Well, our very first ever season, we only did one series, which was the Cup Series, and that was very successful. So for 2018, we are bringing in 2 extra series. We're now doing the Cup Series, sponsored by Fastlane. We're doing the Xfinity Series, which is sponsored by Northeast Ohio Ghostbusters, and the Truck Series, which is sponsored by Winona Road. We're also introducing our very own broadcasting station on YouTube, DRL TV, with many great broadcasters coming along: David Wellborn, Ryan Branch, Chris James, Taylor BB, and many more. And big shout out to Martin Wenzel and Jordan Gonzalez on all they are doing to get DRL TV off the ground and all of the graphics you see each and every week.
Yeah, I know those guys do a lot of work behind the scenes, allowing me to show things. Like when I pull up these official results for you guys, all of this stuff is done behind the scenes by Jordan and by Martin and all these guys. They put a ton of work into this every week, and I want to give a huge shout out to all those guys as well. Thank you for coming and interviewing with us, James. We can't wait to see what the 18 season has to offer, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to Tater Bowman. If it wasn't for him, the last season 2017 Cup Series might not have happened. Him being gracious enough to sponsor us. And thank you to all the drivers who join us each and every week, taking time out of their lives to come and have some fun with us.
Yeah, the drivers of the league is really what makes this happen, man. Everybody comes out, tries to make it a big family environment and make this thing what it is. So, and as you said with Tater, this whole thing would have never got off the ground if it wasn't for for you coming to him with the idea and for him sponsoring everything. There's payouts for all of our series and things like that. So awesome to him for getting all that started and you for trying to put it together and getting the rosters all set and everything. Have a good night, man. Congrats on the P11.
Thank you very much, and thank you for broadcasting.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up here. Unofficial results. Awesome win by Blake Griffith.
Awesome to hold off such a strong competitor as Eric Wolf. So much congratulations to Eric Griffith. And again, thank you, Brian Branch, for doing this broadcast, and appreciate everything you're doing as well for this.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan, for joining me for the second half of that race. Hopefully next week you guys will hear me and Derek Pemberton will both be here for the A-split and the main race next week. We plan to finish out the Winter Series and then get going Cup Series next year. To be myself, I'm not sure who my co-broadcaster will be at that time, but those details will be ironed out in the coming weeks. And Jordan and Martin and everybody else with the DRL, Tater, Daniel Hallis, Blake Griffith, all the admins, and all the guys who come out here and race every week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you next week from Texas.
That all she wrote?